Okay, we are live. Okay, that's great. Some more Dharma teaching. Yeah. So today I'm going to teach a little bit, continuing with the Dharma, but a little bit on the relationship of how the Dharma is more an energetic reality, a vibrational reality. Yeah, and how in this world we have a tendency to look at everything in a material way, the outcome of a material thing, yeah, how it will affect something, you know, in engineering or in physics or the way you think. It's just the way you think, yeah. But what if it doesn't work like that at all, yeah? What if it works with the subtle reality of vibration, yeah? What if there are no atoms? What if the atoms are manifested by vibration and there are no atoms, no electrons? All of that is formulated by vibration. Yeah? And that vibration is formulated by light. And that light is formulated by sound. Yeah? And inside that sound, inside of all of this, is consciousness, a mind of God. A mind of God. Yeah? And that carries frequency. It's vibration. It's all the things we think about. How an atom works, how an electron works. We have to think of literally how we work. Yeah? Because we are built on an electrical system. Our entire system is electrical. Yeah? And we're affected by biomagnetic influences because our entire system is biomagnetic. Yeah? And it's not material. Yeah? But we're going to continue forcing material belief systems on this process. Yeah, right on top of it. You know, I don't care until the day God appears on earth and we are standing in the heavenly abode. We will still say material things first before we'll mention God. We'll say, "Oh, he looks nice." You know? Yeah. We'll say something material. Yeah. And that diffuses the whole thing. It's not material. It's the reason why a person goes from being a monk to falling out of being a monk. You know? It's material. It's material. There is always this alternative reality, and it exists 100% more than the reality of God. And you're seeking God, but yet you're in a material world. You know, and you think thoughts and they don't have a spiritual home. You know, they don't have a spiritual home. All your thoughts have no place in heaven. That sucks. That sucks. Yeah. But in Christ, in the Incarnation, you know, all those thoughts are exactly as they are in heaven. And there's no thoughts. No thoughts. Just response and reaction, because it's self-ordained, it's self-created, self-realized, self-actualized. It's the same thing as the reality that atoms aren't real. Yeah, it's more vibration. It's more a harmonic field. Yeah, it's more something to do with something we don't know. And for that reason, we drive fossil fuel cars. And Elon Musk thinks that the electric vehicle is the last answer. That's it. You know? And we may get to super rockets and all kinds of things, and those are it. That's it. We're going to rocket. We're going to go with the material plane. We're not going to enter into a new science. Completely throw out the old science. Completely throw it out. Yeah? Enter into a new science. Science of God. But to do that, you have to become a monk. I don't care if you're Elon Musk. I don't care if you're Trump. I don't care if you're the President of the United States. If you want to become a President of the United States, you have to become a monk. Yeah. I don't care who you are. I don't care what it is. You will never achieve what you think that you think you're going to do, because where that is, it's hell. And where you're going is samsara, and you're part of the manifestation of the suffering on earth. Yeah? Because we're not an ashram. And if you think you are, You're under a delusion of grandeur. You're in La La Land. You're following the Pope or something, or the Dalai Lama or some kind of shit. But if you listen to me, we are not in an ashram. It's available, but you're not in it. Yeah? And you're not chosen to be in it. You're kicked out of it. Yeah? Because it is harmonics. If you cannot witness it while you're in it, then you would be pushed out of it. Yeah? If you can't do it, if you cannot be merged one with God, if you cannot do that, then God will push you away and make a different place for you. Yeah? And it's not a good place. It's not a happy place. It's all about karma. It's all about stupidity. It's all about ignorance. It's all about needing liberation. It's all about lack of faith. I mean, that really sucks. That really sucks. Yeah? And where I'm sitting, it's not true. It's not what it is. I'm not in that boat. You could be in the same boat with me. But you have to be invited. And if you ever choose to become a monk or a nun, you better be a monk or a nun. Or you're not going to stay. And you're going to be forced out. Yeah, and it just the way it is. So in my case, I'm down to like 13, 14 monks and nuns. Because it's just not what you think it is. It's harder than you think it is. It will drive you nuts. Totally nuts. Yeah. Because you have to live in the truth, and you have to deal with the fact that everybody's out after you. They're freaking predators. And they're committing suicide. And they like it to be a pack thing. So join me in my stupid world. In my stupid ideas. I can give you more pleasure. I can give you happiness. I can give you all these things in this material plane between people. And that's your situation, but it's not true. It's not true. Yeah. And I've known people who made it to sainthood. Yeah. People who, and yet, they don't stick around. They're out of their body faster than most people. Yeah, and because it's hard. And it's not because there's something bad with them. It's because they don't have any brothers and sisters. Yeah? They're in it alone. And they're struggling. To keep anything up into the light. Yeah, it's impossible. It's impossible. The Dalai Lama can't do it. The Pope can't do it. The followers of the Pope can't do it. All those priests and Catholics and Muslims and Baptists and Lutherans and Protestants and can't do it. They can't do it. Yeah. And no matter how I'm standing here, no matter how I teach, no matter what I'm doing, it is a frequency. It's a vibration. It's the word. So it's an unchanging thing. It's like, this radio has one channel. One channel. And so do you. And if you want to create this multi-dimensional universe, then go ahead with delusions and illusions as it sits, as it is. Because you'll never figure out how it is you cause so much suffering and how to fix it faster than it goes down. You'll never, ever, ever get it. Yeah? You'll go through one vaccine and another, and there'll be another thing coming up because your karma sucks. It sucks. And and you go through this process and you see, your churches say, well, he's a coming. And your Catholics say, he's a coming. We better watch out because it's the end of times. It's the apocalypse. There's going to be a war. There's going to be disaster. There's going to be destruction because we're so sinful. That's what they say. I can understand that. It's not true. Not true. The truth is that you lack so much sin. You've been blessed by me. For over 2,000 years, you know of my existence, and you know of so many people that became Christians, and so many people have fallen out. And even Christians fall away, you know. And Buddhists that can have any form of self-realization get stuck in the process. You know, where if you study Tibetan Buddhism, you'll find that they're more warlike, more hostile, more aggressive, more mean, more prejudiced, more biased, more hateful than you could ever consider. Yeah, you just don't want to know it. You don't want to think it. You know, because the propaganda tells you they can't kill flies. You know, they don't harm anybody, but they are slave owners. Up to the time that they were kicked out of Tibet, they were slave owners, or they were slaves. 90% of them were slaves. The rest of them were owners. Yeah. That's about as evil as you can get. I mean, we're fighting for human rights here. We did that slave thing a long time ago, and we're still fighting toward democracy. We're still fighting for the right of God's living ambition on earth. Yeah? Democracy. Humanitarianism. Yeah? Caring, sharing. Yeah? Things that would come from the teacher. Yeah? That would be instilled in you. And we'd make a better world. Yeah? But it is almost impossible in a process where people are sitting in a position to where they just think, well, you know, it's a part-time thing. You know? I'm not incarnated to be a monk or a nun. He's wrong about that one. You know? I mean, everything I said is Jesus. I keep repeating. You know? And it leads me into a bad situation. It leads me to a cross. It leads me to the only person standing up. The only one. And sooner or later, that's going to get me. Yeah, and it's going to make a big difference in the process of whether or not we can deal with this. We need to stand together. You need to grow up, mature into the process of what you're really here for. And if you fall short of it, you're just, you know, in the same boat as all the disciples were on the day that I went on the cross. The same boat. Even the one who kissed me on the cheek. They're all in the same boat. They all did it for that reason. Materialism, ambition, their own ideal. Yeah? Wanted to be a fisherman, wanted to be a husband, wanted to be a boyfriend, wanted to be this and that. They didn't want to be a disciple. The last thing in the world, they thought. Yet they're all walking around, here's the coming of the Messiah. And here we are in the year 2000. The year of the coming of the Messiah. Coming of the Messiah. It's in the Bible. It says he's going to come back within 2,000 years. You know, it's prepare yourself, you know, or it could get bad. Could get hard. But the truth is that I've saved you from wars. You know, very few of you in America are in war right now. I got you all out. All out. As of January. Yeah? You know, people didn't like it. And I did it anyway. Yeah? And that really, 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 really put a big crimp in the process of delusions and illusions. Because we're supposed to be a hateful group. And we're not. We really want peace. We really are disciples. Yeah. We really do understand that we shouldn't be carrying guns. Let alone have a law that allows us to carry a gun, carry a weapon of any kind. Yeah. And we're so big on it in the United States. We're the #1 country of people able to carry guns. Have as many as you want. Yeah. We're a #1 country for killing people and for dying from self-inflicted wounds from guns. Yeah. The largest mass suicide is right here in America with the use of guns. Guns. Guns are the chicken shit way to go, people. If you're a wimp, yeah, if you can't stand up and fight, if you have no strength, no character, no backbone, yeah, if you're not a man and you're not a woman, then get a gun. Because you're less than a human being. You're just a hostile vagrant. Who's not here for this earth, not here for your humanity, not here for your community, not here for your family, not here for yourself. When you get a gun, you're just the weakest speck on earth. And yet, on the opposite side, they tell you, oh, wow, you're really strong, bang, bang. All the girls with their machine guns, look at me, bang, bang, I'm Senator Doo-Doo. Yeah. It is a process we have to come to grips with. Yeah. We have to make different kinds of decisions. We have to make decisions when you're capable. And it's so few people are capable. Yeah. And when you're on the edge, when you're near to being capable, you have to take it. You have to jump all the way. Because no one's going to walk you across. No one. No one's going to hand you a parachute. Yeah? No one's going to hand you a guidebook saying that you're doing the right thing. This is guaranteed. Celebrate. Yeah? It's not like that. When you become a disciple, you are 100% responsible for knowing God. Not like some nebulous thing that exists somewhere in some heaven somewhere. No, disciples actually know God incarnates. That's a disciple. Not someone who channels, not a false prophet, not someone who says he's a-coming. Yeah, nothing like that. It's a matter-of-fact thing. It's a very matter-of-fact thing. There's two worlds. There's the material world and the spiritual world. And in the spiritual world, it is super material. Super material. Yeah? Yeah? The human being known as Christ is a super material being. Yeah? He has superpowers, super abilities, super consciousness, super thought form building. Yeah? Things we can't imagine that can be done is done. Simply by the thoughts, not by the physical I agree or commitments or anything like that. Yeah? It's done by the will of God. Yeah? You have no idea what's going to happen. Yeah? But you have faith. You have vision. Yeah? Yeah? And that carries you. You don't get much more. You don't. No matter how high you get, no matter how evolved you get, you don't get much more. But as a disciple, that's all you need. Yeah? As a disciple, you're literally capable of finding your way to the teacher, becoming a student, and listening to the teacher, and taking the step. Making your way into the step. Yeah? Because between now and the year 2030, I'm building over 20 monasteries. I'm starting to construction on the first monastery this next year. Yeah? And it's going to be just like this one. Yeah? A little bit smaller, but it'll be the same. Yeah? And it'll have finished its construction before we get to this time next year. Yeah? And that'll be 2 monasteries in America. 2 monasteries. Yeah? Very much the same. Very much feeding different states around it. Yeah? Very much taking care of the area in which it could be, because it's a regency. Yeah? But it has to have enormous numbers of disciples. Enormous numbers. And then they have retreat centers. Yeah? That are in the mountainside, outside of the city. And there's a Dharma center that's in the city. And the retreat center is where the monastery goes. It's not in the city. It's outside the city. Yeah? But those are going to be built. These are things that are going to happen. Yeah? So there's a lot of people that's going to have to wake up. And they're going to be chosen. Yeah? They're going to be invited. Because they're not going to be left alone. I'm not going to stop bothering them. Yeah? I'm going to bother them until they leave their freaking body. And enter into their soul. And agree to this situation. And come to realize that this is what's going on. And cooperate in the building of the ashram. The building of the ashram. Whether it be in Russia or Germany or Italy or France. All over the world. We have to build this ashram. Yeah? You know, so that's a lot of activity. That takes a lot of people. This is not a material thing. Yeah? It's not about me, you know, let's see, I got to get contractors and I got to get all this, you know. All that shit will come together. It'll come together. And I will run the whole thing. Design everything. Put it down. Say where it's going to go. Exactly where it sits. And it'll be there because that's the point where everybody will come to over the next 10 years. Because people will die and reawaken. They'll be reborn. Or they'll die. This is going to be a very fast transition cycle, this next 10 years. Yeah? And if it's better for you to leave your body and come back, then that's what God's going to do. And it's better for you to go crazy and transcend your limitations and get to a place to where you can make the decision and enter into full activity and become a monk and a nun. That's what you're going to do. Yeah? But literally thousands of people are going to be changing. Going from 14 people to thousands of people means that the shit that's around you and the weak people that are around you that you support yourself with, who don't step forth and do these sort of things, yeah, those people are going to step back, not be moving energy with you, because this is all about energy. Yeah. So I think within the next 10 years, you know, over this next 10 years, you know, there's going to be an enormous movement inside of humanity. I'm going to build this monastery, not just the one that I have here, but another one. Yeah. And it's going to have harmonic frequencies involved in it. Today I'm trying to teach people about the relationship of an ashram. An ashram. An ashram is something that controls matter. It does not come from matter. Yeah? So it's nobody in it can be a part of a material thought form consciousness. Yeah? They have to be reborn. And if they're not reborn, by the time the ashram is activated, by the time a said monastery is activated, they leave. And it can take 10 to 15 years for that to happen. Because the monastery is more important than the individual. Yeah? The individuals come and go. Yeah? It's not a matter of I don't care kind of thing or anything like that. It's a matter of the fact that the monastery is built to be there for thousands of years. And it's a place for you to reincarnate too. And live out higher levels of your life in the same place where before you didn't simply have the ambition and the aspirations and the soul it took to make that kind of commitment. You just didn't. You know, you had too many elements pulling you left and right. Yeah. But over this next 10 years, that's going to wreck the shit out of people. Yeah, because there are people over the next 10 years that are going to leave their body that are not good people. Not very good at all. Yeah. And that's going to change an enormous amount of elemental disfiguration inside of humanity. Yeah, that has to do with glamours and has to do with misuse of money. Yeah. Misuse of greed and all the different things that go with all the glamours. Yeah. All of that goes into a cleansing, a purification. Yeah. And it all comes out of me. Yeah. I'm upping it over the next 10 years. So there's going to be a lot of time to where most of my time will be spent fasting and meditating. Yeah. And preparing, not for teaching, yeah, but for cleansing more people. Yeah. Allowing myself to be a vessel for a lot of impurity to enter me. And I cannot eat when I do that. I can't eat. I can't talk much. I have to just watch. Just watch. Because I'm manifesting a brand new world. It's being reborn. And I do that by completely fasting, completely meditating, and complete joy. Extreme peace. As much as I can, for as long as I can, the longest periods as I can hold together. You know me as Jesus. I would do that over 30 days, 40 days, 15 days, 20 days. I'd be gone. No one knew where I was at. And I needed purification. I needed peace. And nobody around me had peace. Everybody had a brain. Everybody had an idea. And everybody had these suspicious ideas between each other and, all this kind of stuff. And that just really is not an ashram. It's not an ashram. And I can handle it for so long. But I have to, in order to help, I have to do it alone. If I'm going to exercise someone, I have to do it alone. If I'm going to do soul therapy, I have to do it alone. If I'm going to be me, I have to do it alone. Because there's nothing else that's going to do it. Nothing. Everything has to be included in it. I can't be pulled apart, separate from anything, and make a thought form that I'm part of that. Because I'm not. I have a very different set of realities that go on, and they have to do with more chakras and minor chakras and elemental aspects inside of our consciousness that need to be activated. And we don't have the time to allow another Trump or this or that to continue. I'm pushing many, many, many levels of consciousness onto this planet. And that's purifying millions of people, millions and millions of people right now, to where they couldn't stand up to a person like Trump. Lawyers, Supreme Court, people who have ambition, power, those are the hardest people to turn. They're the hardest people to open the heart. They're the hardest people to see the revelation. What is right thing to do? Because they've always got someone calling them. They've always got someone moving them towards special interest. They're never really in power. They're used for their power. It's not a good place. And I'm having to put all my energy into all of humanity and going into the higher levels of the evil aspects that rule humanity and change them. And if that's not done, you're going to see earthquakes, violent situations coming from the earth, because me and the earth are the same. We're the same. I know this is going to happen. And the only result I have is that I'm going to save you. But I'm going to tell you that in saving you, you're going to wake up. And around you, you're going to find Christ is walking around. And you've done shit to me that ain't right. And you need to turn that around. You need to make it right. Because I'm not going away, and I'm really adamant about this monk and nun thing. I don't care who you are. If you're not a dog or a cat or a rat, you better start thinking you're a monk and a nun. And get your life together. Let go. Let go of all your karma. Let go of all that has ties on you. Let go of it. Relax. If you do that, you enter into a place to where I actually have the opportunity to help you. Because I'm a thought form builder. You're a thought form builder too. But it creates the horrible, most worst world you'll ever imagine. Jealousy and enviousness and pain and suffering from the solar plex down amongst every living human being. Because you can't raise people up with compassion and understanding and empathy. You have to. And if you can't do it, then that's not your fault. You just need to realize that's not what you're here for. You're here to be with the Lord, who does do that. And you have to enter into that relationship, which means there is no such thing as you not being a monk or a nun. Because I am who I am. I'm the teacher. And that means you must be the disciple. There's no other way around it. You can't, I have done that before. I'm not going to do it again. I'm hanging out with a whole bunch of ex-disciples. Yeah, we all look at each other in delusions of grandeur. Oh yeah, we're just free. We've done this before. We're above all that shit. You're a liar. And you're harming more people for the thought, for the action, for the illusion. You're drawing masses of people to you. You're false prophets. Yeah? And all those things, all those thoughts, all those feelings, they're magnetic. They're attractive. They reorient people in ways that they can't get out of it. They get tied up in knots, and they're not their knots. They're your knots. And how do you get out of someone else's knots? Yeah, I can do it. I can get you out of it because I'm not a part of it. I don't see it as a knot. I don't see the atom as an atom. Yeah, I don't see your material world as a material world. I really don't. Yeah, I know that you're in God's matrix. And I know this can switch overnight. I know it. Yeah, it's just that I'm not in a position of willing such a thing to take place. God is. And I'm willing to watch. But I have to do certain things in order to emphasize more God on earth to make that happen. And that requires me fasting, not me doing darshans. I'm going to do darshans and I'm going to teach and I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. But really what does it is the fact that I'm a yogi and I purify myself. And as I'm pure, if I eat nothing, I get real pure. There's nothing going on inside me. No food, no impurities, no nothing. I don't have to digest anything. I mean, it's really clean, really clean. But I am who I am. Yeah? I'm not talking, you people. You need to fast to get pure and all that. It will help you. It will help you get pure. It will help you in that way. But it's not the same as me. I have to heal all the earth to keep it from destroying you. Yeah? You're afraid of things, that are material. Tornadoes are not material. Earthquakes are not material. They're not. Yeah? And they're psychosomatic too, people. And so is everything on your body, and you can actually treat them with meridian therapy, energetic field therapy, magnets, allowing flows to move. But that's a big thing. Yeah, that's a science. And doesn't include this as a material world. It works. But when it does work, you just go, I wonder how that worked. It was just a magnet. That doesn't fit my principle. Doesn't fit my dogma. Yeah. But it worked. I'm not hurting. I'll do it. But that doesn't help me, and it's not going to help you in the long run. The main thing is the fact that it doesn't exist in the first place. Not that the pain doesn't exist. Just that this material reality of the world, the treatments that I give, an etheric weaver of all things. Yeah? Soul therapy. Nobody in the room, nothing going on, just a mat. It's not even plugged into the wall. There's no electronics in it. There's no computer connected to it. There's no software involved with it. It is total telepathy. Total telepathy. Wireless, people. Yeah. And we all have this ability. That's why it's soul therapy. You have to heal yourself first. You have to heal yourself. And you don't know what you're healing yourself from. And it is yourself. This selfish, energetic field, this principle of not being able to become 100% a monk and a nun. 100%. And it's really not that difficult because I give a lot of teachings and I say what it is you need to do in order to allow yourself the beginning stages, like heal yourself, eat in certain ways, meditate, listen to my pujas, Don't treat anybody badly, don't rip anybody off, don't lie to people, don't steal from people. When you are lied to, forgive them, understand the situation, and don't let them do it again. But don't get hostile. Don't get aggressive. Be understanding. Totally different realm. The other side, it's like, aha, I gotcha. I'm smarter than you. Now we're dueling. You lied to me. I caught you. Now I'm pissed off. Now you fall. You piece of shit. It's not about that. It's about empathy. And you can be straightforward with the person and help them through their illusion just by asking questions properly. Yeah? And God will lead you to that. The Holy Spirit leads you through this process. The whole teaching of being in an ashram is about being harmless. Harmless, completely harmless. Yeah? And to manifest harmlessness is almost impossible. Yeah? So I'm working on changing the world so that we have monasteries as the predominant reality. Predominant. We can go back a million years. I've been here millions of years. My history is all over this planet. I've done this over and over and over and over again. I've done this. Yeah, I did it in Cambodia. I did it in India. I did it in America. I did it in Egypt. I did this everywhere. Over and over and over again. And it's so old. Millions of years old. You cannot figure out where it came from. The country can't figure out where it came from. How it got there. Nobody has the ability to do this. Yeah? It's because when I'm here, it takes so much time to teach and get people out of the process of delusions and illusions. It's extremely hard. Yeah? But imagine there's this yuga that comes around and I'm just continue teaching. I continue teaching. I continue teaching. Here's 12,000 years. Here's 16,000 years, 20,000. I continue teaching. I continue teaching. We get to that 28,000 year. Well, everybody's pretty wise, pretty telepathic, pretty intuitive. Science has moved toward light and energetic medicine and moving toward new temples and new technologies and advancements in education and everything. 28,000 years, though. 28,000 years. Those are yugas. And we have them historically. We could see them. We can go back a million years and see technologies that are so advanced it's ridiculous. Like building of the pyramid and building of all the things. What are the purpose of those things? Yeah, they were time machines. Telepathic portal machines. They would change your vibration. You would learn harmonics. You would tone yourself to a tone. You get to a temple. You get to the front of the temple, you go inside the temple, you look up, and you'd see this mandala, and that would be the color code vibration you're supposed to do when you're doing a mantra. Every master goes around and does this. But you have no idea, and I haven't. Those things I built a million years ago, and they're still hanging around. Yeah? So it's got to be redone. It's got to be done over and over and over and over and over again. We still have the temples now. So over the next 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100, 200, 300, 400 years, as you become more monk and nun, you will go through pilgrimage and listening to everything I'm saying because I keep reincarnating. And I keep sitting here talking just like I never died. Imagine I croak today and I come back 22 years from now. That's nothing to most people. But I'd look just like I do right now. And I'd be talking just like I am right now. And I go on until I croak. 20 years later, I come right back and sit right back up and talk to you. Yeah? And many people would watch that. 1 or 2 cycles within their life. Catch me as they're coming in, catch me as they're going out. See me through 1 or 2 cycles in my life. Yeah? This is something that's going to be done, something that is happening. That is the appearance of the Christ. That is the new age. Yeah? This is not a a temporary, once-in-a-lifetime scenario where I'm going to build up something, write books, and then you're going to read those books and carry on after that. Nope. I'm going to build monasteries trusting you, having faith in you. Yeah? I'm going to keep saying this over and over and over again till the numbers grow. And we have people working in those monasteries, and they don't just last 20 years and then leave. They die there and reincarnate and come back there, and they become saints. But they gotta not quit. If they quit, they're actually the opposite of a saint. They're the antagonist of a saint. They make saints fall. Does that make sense? Yeah. Every time, and that's why I don't take on many monks or nuns, because there's a 90% chance they're going to take down all the monks and nuns that are amongst us. Take them down. Yeah? Because they'll come in with their authority, they'll come in with their all these kind of things that are not pure, and it becomes an entangled mess for everybody. And they're trying to get through their day-to-day, peaceful service that they're trying to do as a monk or a nun. In the future, monk or nun, you're all going to realize monk or nun has to do with healing the planet, building a new science, developing a new lifestyle that is so simple and heals people. Heals people. I mean really heal people. And there's so far into the future, so very far into the future, you're going to do anything that I do. Anything. But I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to do it. And every time I do something really wild, that's when people throw me in a prison or stick me in an insane asylum, which they've done in this life. Just simply because I actually have a miracle that happens. The moment I have a miracle that's public, I am thrown in jail. And nobody sees me, and then I'm thrown in the military for 4 years, and nobody sees me. And I come back out, and there's Bhagwans, there's Sai Babas, everywhere. And, I was supposed to externalize when I was like 20 years old. But instead, Sai Baba did. Instead, Bhagwan did. Instead, So that's what it's like for the avatar to come into a world where everybody's following false prophets. Because you're all disciples. You're following somebody. Yeah? It could be a doctor. It could be an engineer, it could be some other form of belief system, but it's all material. It's false prophecy. Yeah? And you're looking for the alternative way that would make it easier than having to become a monk and nun and change your own personal ways. Yeah? Because that triggers so many terrible things. You got to think about what you did to your brother, your cousin, your sister, your aunts, your uncles. You have to think of all those things and what they've done to you. Yeah? And all the jobs and all the people and all the relationships. Yeah? Or you can meditate. And with love, you forgive and you forget. They do not come back up again. They don't. Where before they were on a record and they would never stop coming back up. But with me, with love, with me, not with you, but with me, this shit goes away. It's redemption. Yeah? And it doesn't go away. Look at all the people in the world. Without this process, without people making this change, and they're not going to make a change unless you actually provide all the options it takes for them to make that change. Like I had to spend 30 years for people to try out etheric weavers before I can come out and teach. Because everybody's going, well, that won't work, That's not how it works. You got to be like Sai Baba. You got to manifest gold. You got to be manifester, Or you got to be like Bhagwan. You got to be sex magic. And you got to do all these things that distort people's opinion of reality. Yeah? All these things that go on in the world are all aspects of our glamours. And they're manifested inside every single false prophet. Yeah? Jim Jones. Yeah? Elizabeth Clare prophet. You know, what did she end up doing? She ended up sending people to where, Wyoming, and dig holes in the ground with nuclear bomb shelters. You know? And she was telling everybody the world is, this is on hierarchy. Here comes the Christ. You know? La la la. Oh, it unplugged? Is that working now?
It's going to take several seconds.
Oh, okay. Well, let me know. I don't see anything.
I can't hear you.
No, I can't see it. Have you got an alternative? Microphones are good. I don't know. Can you hear it now? Okay, great. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, great. Yep. So it's the process of getting from this material world thing into the energetic principle of real truth, yeah? And it's all in the ashramic aspects. It's not about the education in high school. It's not about the process of physics or process of whether or not we should or not go to Mars, you know? It's a process of the fact of the reappearance of Christ. Where is that? Where is it? I don't see it anywhere. I don't see anybody saying it. I don't see anybody. Yeah? Well, how is it that isn't being said? It was being said in the 80s. It was being said in the 70s. It was. But then it just died. Yeah? And now it's not of anybody's recollection. Yeah? Now it's all about, I don't want to wear a mask, I don't want to get a shot, I don't like the vaccine, I'm a Trumper, I'm red, I'm blue. Not working? Oh. One, two, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Well, it looks good. Yeah, it's working. Yep, that's working. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, the process is that there is a lot that I'll wait until he's done. Yep. It's about timing, yeah? People do this thing. They have, well, now what? I'll wait. Got all the time in the world. Okay. So this world it's on the way to something really not so good. Yeah? The tornado that hit, the wind that hit, the fires that hit, the earthquakes that are going in Italy and in other locations, yeah, we just take them like it's nothing. Like, you know, oh, look at that. It was the strongest wind in history. What do you know? Oh, well, no big deal. No one says it's like the signs of Christ. And what does that mean? We didn't get our shit together. We're not looking. We're not thinking he's out there. If he is, where is he? What's his address? Where's a picture of the guy? We have all the news and media and everything in the world. Where is he? Obviously, he's here. Yeah? Should have been here in the year 2000. Well, that was 20 years ago. Yeah? And all the other people say he was here in 1950. Gee whiz, that was 70 years ago. Walking around for 70 years and we've never met the guy. Yeah? So that is really something in the process of humanity that will wreak. There is this frequency process. Imagine this whole thing is held together by love, and that it is a harmonic reality in the mind of Christ consciousness. He wants good things for humanity, But the problem is that he could see all the things that are going to happen to humanity. And that's not thought of him. No one thinks of that of him. They just think, if you see him, me, you look at me and you wouldn't think, wow, he knows everything. He knows the day the earth is going to be dead. He knows the apocalypse that will come and what years they will happen. What locations that may take place. He knows the truth about the past. He knows when giants came and when they went. How they came and how they went. No one knows that. Why does he know that? I don't just know that. I know things no one is to know. Only me. Because I'm telepathic. I'm part of this humanity. Good, bad, or indifferent. I'm part of it. And I'm here to help. And my job is to warn you. Not warn you and say, you got to do this or we're all going to die. We had to build 100,000 monasteries in the next 7 years or we're all going to die. No, that's not how it works. We all need to become monks and nuns. That's how it works. If you want me here, you need to lend your ear. You need to lend all your senses. Because I'm a teacher. I'm not a provider in the way that you may think I'm a provider. I'm gonna provide you step by step how to get to heaven. I'm going to provide you tomorrow a better day. I'm going to provide you the car that you're hoping for. I'm going to provide you a better relationship in life. Oh, thank you, Jesus, for that. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to give you birth, to give you another view, make you 100% different, 100%. And not cause you pain, not cause you suffering for it. I mean, in the beginning, everybody died for it. Everybody died for it. I asked them to follow me, talk about me, help people get to know me. Man, they kill you for that. And they died as saints, as martyrs. Not in suicide, not in some other form, but it's a hard world, And now we're 2,000 years later, and there are no lions in the den waiting for you with Caesar. There are people out there with guns, and they call themselves Christians. They're false prophets. You need to take their place. You need to. You need to sign every law into action. No guns. Not one. Not on the police. Not on anybody. Not for any reason whatsoever. And it's going to take about 100 or 200 years for that to actually come into effect. To fulfill itself. But it takes time. People have to lay them down. And it shouldn't be because they lost their children. Now I'm going to spend my life trying to keep people from buying guns. Well, it shouldn't have been like that. You need to learn from Jesus. I can tell you way in advance where you're wrong. I can tell you way in advance what you need to be doing. And how you need to not do what you're doing now in order to do it in ways that it's not going to harm anybody. And life is very simple because life is spiritual. If you follow into the process of being a monk and a nun, all the power of the universe falls on your shoulders. Everything that would be your poverty, that would be your lack of faith, that would be your lack of aspiration, all your lacking qualities gets lifted off your shoulders just by changing your title. Change your description. Change your clothes. Eat what I say to eat because it's spiritual. Do that first. Get all the benefits. Gain those benefits. Purify. Yeah? Get all the benefits. But as quick as possible, get rid of as much material reality as you've got. And turn yourself over to nothingness. Yeah? No personality. You're here to serve. I've got a hand. It's here for you. I've got eyes. I could see your need. And I'm going to take care of it. I can hear what you need to say. And I'm not going to be the one who's telling you what you need to say. Yeah? That's a monk and a nun. Big difference between other people. You slowly but surely you learn to be in the actions of Christ, in the world of Christ. Yeah? And it starts with charity. There's not another way. And charity means you've got to give up. You have to give up what you got. You can't be in charity if you're standing there holding on to everything and going, okay, here's a little of this and here's a little of that. You need to be committed to your poverty. You need to be committed to your situation. And your needs are only what you need. And you're discerning, you're discriminating, you're not overwhelmed, you're thankful. Shit, you're driving a Tesla because you can afford it. It meets your needs, and you found ways to be able to bring that about. That's a dharmic activity that's very good for you, and you keep moving in that direction. Slowly but surely you're going to find yourself in the ashram not owning that car, but staying within the group of a collective. Yeah? Where you still have a car, you still have a Tesla, you still have all the things you want. Except now, you don't own anything. What you have is what you have. It's part of you. Yeah? And it becomes blessed. Your little material world starts receiving light rather than imperil. All the cars you ever had, you imperiled. Every single thing. A Band-Aid you had, you imperiled. Yeah? Goes off, it'll harm somebody. Yeah? Things that touch you, things that you hold on to are not good for other people. It has all kinds of bad energy in it. Not good. Not good. Even if you wash it really well and put it out in the sun for a while, still, it's got imperil in it. Yeah. And it's better if you're just relaxed and you maintain only what you need and you keep it in order. You keep it clean. You sweep your floor every day. You empty your trash every day. You wash your dishes that you made dirty every day right after you used them. Yeah? If you don't, what happens? You have impurity. Because you don't exist, only service. And what are you? Actually, you're a disservice. Does that make sense? You got to see all this. You have to see all of it. You have to see all of it. You have to react and do accordingly. Or you're harming yourself and other people. And you're not meant to be feeling guilty. That, I'm such an asshole demon. I'm never going to get out of this crap. I'm possessed. Skip all that. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that you must receive purity. You must receive purity by not creating impurity. If you don't create impurity, and that just means you're not humble, you're not resourceful, you're not positive, you're not committed to, I made this dish dirty. Oh, what's wrong with me washing it and putting it away? Well, I'll wash the rest of them that are sitting here. It's fine and dandy. I kind of like it. It's not a martyr thing. It's nothing. It's service. Yeah? And no dirty dishes ever sit around. No dirty floor ever sits. No shit on the floor. No dirty, stinky trash cans. No stinky underarms. Yeah? No stinky clothes. Yeah? You take care of it. Because you're aware of the impurity. You're aware of it. Yeah? And you don't get fanatic about it. You don't go, oh, I keep scrubbing, you know, I'm so impure. You're not going to do it that way. You just need to do common sense. Clean up around you. Don't allow it to gather. Because that means that you have from within an impure physical reality, an impure emotional reality, an impure mental reality. Simply because you can't see it, can't do anything about it, and it continues. And now, you know, and you can probably go, but I'm so organized. I am so good looking. I am so this and that. So what? So what? You know, when you go to hell, explain that to me there, because I won't be standing there to listen. Yeah? You'll be listening to yourself. And all your guilt. And all the things you had as an opportunity you didn't take. And what you did do instead. That's going to come back on you. Trust me. This conscious mind has a purpose. Yeah? And it instills in you merit. It instills in you virtues. It instills in you memories. That allows you to see yourself with great, enormous sense of well-being. Yeah? A sense of accomplishment, because you could have, but you didn't. Maybe you were weaker a long time ago, but not you're now. You're not now. You don't see the weaker anymore. You see the strength who you are now. Yeah, because you are growing in light. But if you have impurities and continue planning those impurities, you know, you're just holding back the hundreds of millions of children that are incarnating and they're just going to be following your path. Yeah. And that, to me, that's where everything goes wrong. Yeah. Because I'm here for you and your whole life. Yeah. And when you reincarnate, if you, all of you, become monks and nuns, the children will be safe. 100% safe. Not only will they be safe, but you will remember them as old friends, allies, characters, people. And you no longer could go through this, oh, I'm so sad because Charlie's dead. You know, I miss Charlie so much. Poor old Charlie. You know, we used to hang out all the time, good old Charlie. And Charlie's like hanging out down the street. He's about 11 years old and he's having a great day. You know, we'd be in a better world. We'd be in such a better world if we'd wake up to our truth. That we are not in a material world. We are in a spiritual world, and it's super duper. And we can find each other and we can live in an enormously happy place. And all of us, we're not like, well, how'd you turn out to be an asshole? You know, we become monks and nuns and we help others to become monks and nuns. Instead of us going, I don't know how my kid turned out to be an asshole. I really didn't want an asshole, but I got one. You know? Yeah, and they hate me. You know, they won't have anything to do with me. They literally completely despise me. That's the world we're in today. People give up on people. People completely disconnect from people. Don't care at all. And that's all going to come back on you. You know, that's all going to come back on you. You know? So as a monk and nun, you become a student. And as a monk and nun, it gives me an opportunity to tell you this shit. Because you're not going to hear it from yourself. Yeah, you're not going to hear it on TV. It's not going to be on the TV channel. It's not going to be on the TV movie. Yeah, you're going to have to hear it from me. Yeah. And every time you think, well, Jesus died on the cross and all these things, but he's still alive and he's talking today. Yeah. And he's asking us, would you please do as I say, as I said, you know? And let's not carry this on another 4 or 5 or 6,000 years. Yeah, because this is the process of time. This reincarnation, the reappearance time of Christ, is a time to where I don't go away. Very different than the other cycle of time, where I do continue coming back, but I have to keep coming back in places where people are so destitute in their delusions, like in Tibetan Buddhism or other areas. And I have to heal all those areas because they're keeping you in delusion and illusion. They're going to be your future false prophets rather than your prophets, rather than your saints. You know, it was a choice whether or not I build an enormous number of saints or I allow false prophets to enter into the world and keep you from becoming saints. So the whole process has been developing saints, making and creating. It's even in the teachings of Jesus Christ. It's all about that. If you would just read that, look at that, just read what I said, you come and understand every word that I talk, everything that I say is word for word what I say in that Bible. Word for word. Yeah? And I don't do anything to try and, I got to make sure I talk like Jesus. It's not in that. It's a process that we all need to relate to because it's telepathic. Yeah? And if we're not relating to it, then we're missing in a process that comes with God, the monad. We're missing the soul. And if we're missing the soul, it means that we're missing what it is that answers all the problems. Like if we enter into the soul, monastically, if we entered into the soul, we would come up with the invention of levitation, material levitation, objects that levitate. Not only do they levitate, but they change in their form. Material things. Yeah? A rock literally turns soft through sound and electromagnetic vibration. It turns soft. Yeah? Literally, you can mold it, push it right into its place, and it just forms. Then you go like that to the sides of it, and it gets all flat, and that's it. And that's how all the boulders and things like that are put in place. And you see that they're odd, and they're off, and they're not really exact. But yet they fit so perfectly you can't even put a razor blade in between. That's because they were molded with vibration. Yeah? And levitated with vibration. Yeah? There are rocks that are 100,000 pounds lifted up to a top of a mountain. Has absolutely no other rocks around that's of any kind like that. Miles and miles and miles and miles away, let alone in that location. But yet, there's a statue there. The tallest statue of Buddha. And it's been there for over 1,000 years. How the heck did they get it there? How did it form like that? How did we create these things? Yeah? That's where we're going. That's where we're going. Because we're not in a material world. We didn't have cranes and we didn't have things like that to build a pyramid and build these things and lift these objects. Yet they're there. Millions of years ago, Stonehenge was put where it's at. How'd they do that? Giants. Giants. Yeah? And there's so many different things that moves us through in our history that shows this is not a spiritual process. These are spiritual processes. It's the technology that's involved in the making of that process that goes to light, that goes to sound, that goes to magnetic influences. Yeah? And it's not like Stonehenge. Stonehenge is the rough piece of shit. It's just a rough piece of shit. It has no real major focus of its energetic principle, but it does connect to other energetic principles that are very far away. Yeah? They're alignments, but they have nothing to do with pilgrimage. Yeah? True pilgrimage is going to happen in the hearts of humanity when we go back and build our monasteries and we begin the process of recapitulating and finding our past lives, meditating, connecting our past life to our present life. Like tukus, yeah? I am tuku 1, I am tuku 2, I am tuku 3, I am tuku 4, yeah? We're going to do that. It's important. And you need to sit back and recapitulate that with the things you've had from that life, the bowls you had from that life, the people that you reincarnate in that life. Once that happens, you have a hierarchy. Yeah? And these are angels. These are liberated angels, incarnated aspects of God. Yeah? New Davic realms. And this is when we start changing this world. Is when we reincarnate, come back in contact with each other, and facilitate this in harmlessness through the yoga that comes with me, Buddha Maitreya. Yeah? And that, all of that is in process of happening. Yeah? So you need to just be aware of the fact that over this next 10 years, I for a fact I've been given everything it takes to build a monastery. Yeah? So we are fully on in building this monastery. But we're not just building one, we're building so many different monastery centers, yeah, that are going to happen in many different locations, pushing people to pilgrimage. Yeah? Yeah, so pray, 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 people. On Sunday, I'm going to give a teaching a little bit about Dr. Raj. Dr. Raj is a saint from Nepal that I've known for close to 20 some odd years. Yeah, about that. And this is him here. That's him and his wife, Nita. And he died the other day. Yeah. And his situation was that he and I worked together. I was at Swayambhu helping all the children. And I'm the homeopath, and that office right there that he's at, that was mine. I set that up at Swayambhu Clinic, and that's Swayambhu right there. And so he came and helped. When I was gone, he became the homeopath, and he took over all the doctoring and the homeopathy and the process of nutrition and everything. So that grew to where he then had many clinics and became a senior homeopath in all of Nepal. And this is his little festival that he does every year on homeopathy. And these are all the people that come to his festival. And he's very, very famous in Nepal. He's very famous. This is one of his Buddha Maitreya soul therapy centers. And he has, I think, 5 of them now. And he's on the radio. And he was teaching all the time. And he's the one where he set me up to where allowed me to teach soul therapy in a very large forum in Nepal. I've done that a couple times. And this is him again and his wife. So he left his body the other day with coronavirus. And, he'll be back soon and will reincarnate, and I will find him, and he will be furthered in this process. But that's the difficulty of this real reality. We do not understand the principles behind reincarnation. We hold on to, like, there he is, Dr. Raj. Yeah, I would love to have him here. But I also love to have him in the future. I'd love to have him, period. And there's no way of losing him. There is none. Yeah, you don't lose anybody. Yeah. It's not like they're going to die and then come back as a dog for about 80 incarnations because they're just a piece of shit. Yeah? That's really not how it works. Piece of shit people incarnate all the time. They don't have to be dogs. So trust me, this place is ready and willing for a lot of very strange people. We've got them going all the time. Yeah? So, and they disincarnate just like everybody else. But the truth is that as I build monasteries and I build this process and I bring people not only to soul therapy, I bring the monasteries, I bring the hierarchy, I'm waking them up. I will do this year after year. I will build more monasteries. I will build more monasteries in Tibet. I will incarnate and influence both China, Tibet, Japan, all these major countries that are willing to become telepathic from their previous incarnations. They're willing to do this, and they're willing to do this over the next 10 years. Masses of people are willing to go in that direction. Yeah? So that's where my energy is going. Yeah? And I know Dr. Raj has left his body, but I know Dr. Raj has a birthday and has a death day. you know, and he has his death day. Now he's going to have his birthday, you know, and that's going to be everybody. We're all living in this boat, and we need to stop the process of how we deal with death, how we think death is, how we think life is, yeah, because it's unchanging. There is the Lord. That is it. He is the tree of life. He is it. There is no Paul or Peter or Sai Baba or whatever you want to call it. There are no branches off the Lord. There's no Mary Magdalena. There's no Mother Mary. There's no branches off the Lord. It is a direct lineage relationship of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Yeah? And in this incarnation, this process is a process of bringing people to the Lord and transferring their relationship of what they have in the material plane into what they have in the spiritual plane. Yeah? And rebirth will make that manifest. And out of that, we're going to end enormous destruction that would have happened. Destructions will happen, but not in the way that they were going to happen. Yeah? And we're going to witness some things that are only necessary because we're in the healing crisis. And we can't stop the healing crisis. It's a learning tool. Yeah? This is all energy. Disincarnation and reincarnation is an energy. It is a life learning tool. And why we have faith, why we know God, and why we have all the wisdom that God gives us is because of reincarnation. Yeah? Because of this thing. We don't die. When we live and we die, everything we were doesn't die. It lives. It continues living. And then you reincarnate. Now, whether or not you are allowed to wake up and continue incarnating, once you reincarnate, the question is, do you incarnate the soul? Or do you not incarnate the soul? And just incarnate the personality every life? Even though you were incarnated because of the soul, because of God's love. But yet you take advantage of this shit. You don't become a monk. You don't become a nun. You have all these alternative teachers out there, doctors, lawyers, books, the internet, you name it, friends, family, whatever it takes. They're all keeping you from the one. Yeah? And if you look back at Jesus, you'll find that that's exactly what was going on with me. Yeah? It wasn't nobody, everybody was in their scene, you know? And there was nothing like you think. There was no Mary Magdalena doing great things. There was no Mother Mary being a great thing, or any of that, or any of the 12 disciples. Anything other than just guys who were trying to figure out how it is they're going to become a monk or a nun in the process of this being the Messiah. And how that's going to change this into a new world. That's their whole belief system. Yeah? And now it's taken 2,000 years for me to be able to get to a place to where I can talk to you. And you might make that process change. Yeah? But you're in the place to where you have all the nations are unhealthy and filled with imperil of war from previous war. And they are imperiled. It must be healed. Must be. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to heal the nations. I heal the nations by helping people be healed. Yeah? And that heals their nation that they're in. Yeah? There's no separation in this thing. There's no such thing as black or white or Jew or boy or girl. Yeah? This is all about the earth. And it's all about the kingdoms on earth. It's all about life on earth. It's all about human beings who have the ability to think and turn their back on the revelation of the appearance of the Messiah. Yeah? You can go back to Krishna, you can go back to Rama, you can go back to any of the incarnations, and they all have the same problem. They're dealing with a planet filled with demons. And the demons are messing with people, screwing up the world, and it's the only thing, the real thing, that the Messiah is dealing with is the demons. Yeah? And no one could see them, no one could deal with them. You know? So now we're in a process to where the earth is so imperiled by the wars of Vietnam, by the wars of Pakistan, by the wars that have led people into buying more guns and doing the things they're doing, to the point that they're so possessed with hate that they have so many weapons. Yeah? They have them locked up in their cars. They carry them on their body. They carry them in their cars. Women have them in bags. They walk around with holsters now. I thought that was over with in 1850. But things have degenerated because of the imperil that comes with grandpa going to war, and your father going to war, and your brother dying in war. And no blessing comes out of that. Imperil comes from that. Anybody who lives after war is totally, their body is completely ravaged with imperil. Murdering people, seeing death, witnessing friends die, not being able to do anything about it, and fighting under an illusion of thinking that you're saving people. And you're not. It's all a political thing. It's all just a bunch of glamour, illusion and delusion, and it creates horrible, horrible destruction of Earth. Tanks and bombs. When you have tanks and bombs and you blow up nuclear bombs, you wipe out chakras on the planet. If you rent yourself, hit yourself really hard, have an emotional hit, lose someone very close to you that you are very attached to, yeah, a job, person, place, or thing, and you lose that, it rents your body. And that's just like an atomic bomb, yeah? It's just like an explosion taking place. It rents a hole in your etheric field. It makes it impossible for those chakras to flow in any way normal, because we are energetic. And we don't know that. We just keep going on with our life, drinking coffee and eating and doing whatever we're doing, yeah? But this is an energetic reality, a special place. Birds and trees and water, air. Come on, people. You know? Join the club. You know? Meet me with God. Yeah? This is not that hard, but you got to give up. You got to give up. You have to give up alcohol. You have to give up so many things that cause you impurity. Yeah? Anger, frustration, reaction, jealousy, enviousness. If you've got it, meditate it out. Yeah? If it happens to you, experience it so that you realize you've got that shit going on. Now you need to let it go. You let it go. Yeah? Because you're not in control of this world. Yeah? This is a very difficult place to try and gain any kind of control over, because it is spiritual. It's cosmic. It's not what you think. Just because things fall down and go up and go in the way that they do, seemingly some kind of God in the machine, it is not. And it's that God in the machine glamour that twists you all up. You actually think God is like, you could trust God to do this and do that, and it works like a machine. It kind of works like, you know, and it's not like that at all. Because nobody cooperates with God. So you don't know the outcome. Does that make sense? God's will, your will. Okay, let's talk. You know, where's the chance that God's a machine? I mean, your will is not a machine. Yeah? God's will is not a machine. Where does the machine come in? It's the way we see this material world. Yeah? It's how we look at things in glamour. And we have to get rid of that, or we're not a monk or a nun. There's so much probationary. There's so much first initiation. There's so many things that you must clear and cleanse before you can actually come to a place in your mind that, yes, I'm going to become a monk or a nun. There's so many things that have to be gotten rid of, change, and clear. Yeah? But move forward. Yeah? Don't think that, you know, half-ass attitude and you know, is going to make it. It doesn't. You know, everybody has to go 100%. I don't care if you're in a wheelchair. I don't care if you're blind. I don't care if you're half a body. You know, whatever your situation is, you have the ability to meet God. You have that ability. And God has the ability to communicate with you. Despite your limitations, God could do this. Yeah? And if we can get beyond all of your limitations and thoughts and things like that, then we could save this world of those limitations and allow me in to be the person who speaks to all these people in need. Does that make sense? Yeah, because it's not your process. It's my process. Yeah. So I'm trying to, and I'm going to make way for creating more monastery, creating more retreats, and make it possible for me to get out, meet with people, touch people, and make people walk. People who can't walk will walk. People who can't see will see. I will do this shit. But there's a 99% chance I'm going to get a bullet in the back of my head for it. So you need to try and become good monks and nuns so that you could radiate out enough so that we don't get a Judas. Yeah? We don't get things like that because you have to attract it to us. Yeah? You've got to do that. And if you're not willing to work this out, then the one in the center is the one that's going to be the example. Yeah? There's no way I get out of it. And if I'm going to do the things that are on the other side of this wall, which I do all the time, but I don't do it openly because I know what's going to come from it. I'm standing on the other side of the wall where no one does the healing. Nobody. And yet that's all I do. I can do things you cannot even imagine could be done. Yeah? But if I do any of them, if I make a car levitate, it'll carry me off and shoot my ass. And all I wanted to do was just show you that I am who I am. And I can't do that. Does that make sense? But I'm willing to do that. I'm willing over the next 10 years, when the circumstances come up, I'm willing to do it. And it could be the worst choices I've made. But that's what you've got to do too. You have to make that choice. You've got to go through it. And if it means you're going to have a shorter scenario, then that's what you're going to have. But you've got to go through the process of making sure that we bring the kingdom of heaven to earth. Not a half-assed thing to where occasionally someone gets healed, occasionally someone realizes that this is Messiah, but then there's 10 or 20 or 100 others. You know, that doesn't happen with the real Messiah. They all die out. They don't mean to physically die, but they die out with the energy that is their delusion of grandeur dies down. And they fall back and they go, I thought I was, but I'm not. How about that? That's kind of crazy. Wow, what made me do that? And that is how it works. Because people are crazy. Their minds and their ideas, their actions, their everything. It's insane. And once you get healed, you realize, oh my God, that wasn't me. And that allows you more empathy, more forgiveness toward every other living human being. To realize this is not a personal thing. You do not have control over being possessed. You have to ask for help from Jesus. Because this is a spiritual place and you're in a material world. And when you're in a material place, you're going to get imperiled. And it's going to keep you from everything you ever wanted. You're going to get half-truths. You're going to get half of what you want. And it's just a carrot that gets you from one life to the next. I'm not going to put up with it. So, I haven't taught since the darshan, and and the reason for that is because what I'm going to teach right now, what I'm teaching, isn't exactly what a lot of people want to hear, but it is exactly what you're going to hear, and it's going to get stronger and more potent to the relationship of healing. Yeah, where my meditations are going to be focused on healing specific reasons and energies and vortexes and bringing change in that. But that could bring about a whole lot of processes, and many things that people think are God in a machine that you can count on, and God is not in a freaking machine, and God is unchanging. Where I come from, the view is different. Everything is different. Everything is different. Everything. Everything. We don't grow food to eat it. Yeah? There's another way. And it's I mean, you'll think that I'm nuttier than a fruitcake if I talk to you about heaven and where we could be in this process, you know. So there's not a lot I can say other than become a monk, become a nun, and let's work real hard, and let's bring about a new world, yeah? So let's pray. Okay, so this is working? Lars? Yeah. I got you good. Okay. All right, so just relax. Okay, repeat after me. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of my ashram, soul, and monad. To guide me into the right activity in the plan. To clarify and stimulate my mind. To transform and transmute my feelings and emotions. To energize and vitalize and heal my physical and etheric body. So there is a normal flow of energy in my physical and etheric body. Through this day and every day, I ask this in the name of the Christ to serve the One. All in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. From this moment until the heart of enlightenment is reached, I and all sentient beings as limitless as the sky go for refuge to all the glorious holy lamas. We go for refuge to all the yadams, the deities gathered in the mandalas. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those who have conquered and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all the supreme dharma,
We go for refuge
Take
to
a deep
all the
breath.
noble sangha. We go for refuge to all the dakas, dakinis, protectors and defenders of the dharma, who possess the eye of transcending awareness. We go for refuge to all the glorious holy lamas. We go for refuge to all the yidams, the deities who gather in the mandalas. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those who have conquered and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all the supreme dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble sangha. We go for refuge to all the dakas, dakinis, protectors and defenders of the dharma who possess the eye of transcending awareness. We go for refuge to all the glorious holy lamas. We go for refuge to all the yidams, the deities gathered in the mandalas. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those who have conquered and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all the supreme dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble sangha. We go for refuge to all the dakas, dakinis, protectors, and defenders of the dharma who possess the eye of transcending awareness. To the Buddhas, dharma, and supreme assembly, I go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit gained by gifts and so on, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, I go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit gained by gifts and so on, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. To the Buddhas, the Dharma, the Supreme Assembly, I go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit gained by gifts and so on, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. On the crown of my head, and all sentient beings pervading space, there rests a white lotus in a moon seat. From Hri appears the noble, all-seeing one, white, bright, and radiating 5 colored light rays, smiling charmingly and gazing with eyes of compassion. He has 4 arms, the upper 2 joined together, the lower 2 holding a white lotus and crystal rosary. He is adorned by precious jewels and silks. A deerskin covers his upper left shoulder. The Buddha, a boundless light, adorns his head. He sits in the Vajrasana. His back is supported by a stainless moon. He is the essence of all sources of refuge. Lord, whose white body is not clothed by fault, whose head is adorned by a perfect Buddha, who looks upon all beings with eyes of compassion. To you, Chenrezi, I pay homage. Lord, whose white body is not clothed by fault, whose head is adorned by a perfect Buddha, who looks upon all beings with eyes of compassion. To you, Chenrezi, I pay homage. Lord, whose white body is not clothed by fault, whose head is adorned by a perfect Buddha, who looks upon all beings with eyes of compassion. To you, Chenrezi, I pay homage. To the Sublime One, the mighty Chenrezi, to the Buddhas and their sons, who reside in the 10 directions and the 3 times, with complete sincerity I pay homage. I offer flowers, incense, butter lamps, perfume, food, music, and other real and imaginary offerings, and so on, and beseech the noble assembly to accept them. I confess all the unskillful actions caused by the power of conflicting emotions, and the 10 unvirtuous deeds, and the 5 sins of limitless consequence done from beginningless time until now. I rejoice in the spiritual merit of whatever virtue of the Svarvakas, Patrika Buddhas, bodhisattvas, and ordinary beings gathered throughout the 3 times. I pray that the Dharma wheel of the Mahayana, the Hinayana, and other teachings common to both be turned in accordance with the wishes and the aptitudes of all beings. I beseech the Buddhas not to pass into nirvana, as long as samsara is not emptied, but to look with compassion upon sentient beings who wallow in the ocean of suffering. May whatever merit I have accumulated be the cause for the enlightenment of all beings. May I quickly become a splendid leader of beings. I pray to you, Lama Chenrezi. I pray to you, Yidam Chenrezi. I pray to you, perfect noble Chenrezi. I pray to you, Lord, Protector, Chenrezi. I pray to you, Lord of Love, Chenrezi. Great, compassionate Victor, please hold us with your compassion. Numberless beings who wander in endless samsara experience unbearable suffering. There is no other refuge than you, Protector. Please bestow the blessings to obtain omniscient Buddhahood. By our power of accumulating negative karma from beginningless time, sentient beings through the force of anger are born as hell beings and experience the suffer of heat and cold. May they all be born in your presence, perfect deity. By the power of accumulating negative karma from beginningless time, sentient beings, through the force of greed, are born in the realms of the Pretas and experience the suffering of hunger and thirst. May they all be born in your perfect realm, the Potala. By the power of accumulating negative karma from beginningless time, sentient beings, through the force of stupidity, are born as animals and experience the suffering of dullness and stupidity. May they all be born in your presence, Protector. By the power of accumulating negative karma from beginningless time, sentient beings, through the force of desire, are born in the human realm and experience the suffering of excessive activity and constant frustration. May they all be born in the pure land of Dewachyan. By the power of accumulating negative karma from beginningless time, sentient beings, through the force of jealousy, are born in the realm of the demigods and experience the suffering of fighting and quarreling. May they all be born in your realm, the Potala. By the power of accumulating negative karma from beginningless time, sentient beings, through the force of pride, are born in the realm of the gods and experience the suffering of change and falling. May they all be born in your realm, the Potala. Wherever I am born, may my deeds, by equaling Chenrezis, liberate all beings from impure realms and spread the perfect sound of the 6 syllables in the 10 directions. Through the power of praying to you, perfect noble one, may all beings who I am to discipline pay the greatest attention to action and result, and diligently practice virtue and the dharma for the benefit of all beings. Through this one-pointed prayer, light radiates from the body of the Sublime One and purifies the impure karma, impure appearances, and the deluded mind. The outer realm is the pure land of Dewachya, and the body, the speech, the mind of the beings therein are the perfect form, the sublime speech, and the pure mind of mighty Chenrezig, the invisible union of appearance, sound, and vivid intelligence with voidness. Of others, and all appearances are the perfect form of the Sublime One. All sounds the melody of the 6 syllables, all thoughts the vastness of the great Shana. Through this virtue, may I quickly achieve the realization of mighty Chenrezig. May I bring every single being to that same state of being. Through the merit of reciting and meditating, may I and every being to whom I am connected, when these imperfect forms are left behind, be miraculously born in Dewachya. And may I then immediately cross the 10 levels and send out the emanations in the 10 directions for the benefit of all others. Through this virtue, may all beings perfect the accumulations of spiritual merit and awareness. May they attain the 2 supreme bodies, which arise from merit and awareness. Bodhicitta is precious. May it arise in those who have cultivated it, and in those who have cultivated it, may it not diminish. May it ever grow, and may it ever flourish.
Okay, just relax. Okay, just open your eyes. Okay, so there's I'm not sure what channel it's on or whatever. I think it's Could be, I don't think it's Disney, I don't know what it is. But anyway, you can find it on Apple TV. And it's a TV series about Jesus. And it's called The Chosen. And it's gotten 2 seasons. I'm assured that it'll have a third because I have a third act coming up. And which is the best part. Everybody loves this one. So, but it is done well. Yeah. I remember the scenarios, and they do take it from the Bible, so at least it's somewhat correct. There's a lot of it that is missing, which are the times when I'm not there. They don't project into it what I'm doing and things like that, because that's not in the Bible. It doesn't talk about it. That would only be misleading people into whatever they think. So I appreciated that. Yeah, I appreciate everything that it's doing. And I'm sure it's for this process that I'm explaining. It's for humanity to realize that this is the kind of guy you should be looking for. He hasn't changed. In my reappearance, I am a reappearance. So if you are interested and you want to take a right relationship, then you need to begin the process of getting the tools. Go online, watch these meditations, do whatever you can to try and listen as much as you can to my teaching, one after another. They are not repetitive. Every single one of them is different, even though I go on and on and on, but every single one is different and allows you to receive what it is I have to say, which is a lot. And it can help you clarify a great deal of your own process, what it is that's keeping you from waking up. The more and more you listen to them and take the time to watch these videos and come on and be here for my live meditations and maybe show up for a darshan or two. Those are really great ways, but be assured that you must put it into action. I am not a cult leader or something like that. I am a person who is Jesus the Christ, and I am saying what I've always said. And this is 2,000 years, and it's way too long for people to be catching on slowly like this. So I think that show and many other things are in process in order to make it easier for you to realize that I'm not the bad guy that you might think, that I think that you're a bad person if you do something bad. That doesn't come with me. I understand what the situation is. I allow the bad things to happen, which is a very odd scenario. I'm not a controlling person whatsoever, but I will tell you the truth of what the circumstances really are and where you're going in this. And maybe you might not want to go there, but I do it in a nice way. No, it doesn't matter whether it's a darshan or this teaching on a personal level. I don't spend time with disciples. I don't hang out with people to give them blessings or make them better over a day's period. It's not necessary. What's necessary is your good work, your service. Don't spend your time doing something else. Try your best to change your lifestyle to the point to where you are accommodating toward being a monk and a nun and able to step into that situation. And it'll be there for you. I will build these monasteries and your time will come. You will be called, and it will not be easy if you don't prepare. So recommend to everybody, watch these videos, get your tools, listen to the music, help other people heal. Knowing that you can help other people is very beneficial for your soul. Very beneficial. So don't do this for yourself. Do it for others. Do it to change yourself for others. Do what you can do in every possible way for others. All right. Thank you very much.